Wassail Beautiful People, it's the solstice! Yay! So, why is this solstice important? Well, to begin with, this is the first June solstice, so summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere. It's the first one since the great air mutation of Saturn and Jupiter moving into Aquarius on the 21st of the 12th last year. You see, now I see that connection with 2112 yesterday. I already did this reading in a field and it didn't work, and they said, no, you did your reading this morning, back off, this is not the moment. And why is this not the moment? Well, because I needed to wait for the moon to move out of Libra, going through its little void this morning, and now it's in Scorpio. It's where it's going to be for the solstice, which is now. It's where it is now. It's in Scorpio, and also Jupiter is about to turn stationary and go retrograde, which means it will join Saturn and Pluto. So there's the big three lords of karma are coming in, and that's why I've chosen deliberately to sit here in front of this caged stone wall of very fixed earth energy, because that's what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with the energy of busting up fixed earth frequency. So, let's do the bell and then let's understand why. I want to say that the stressed dog feels very much part of the energy, because this energy is quite stressful. So we're going to look at Jupiter going stationary retrograde, but first of all we need to explain why we're looking at fixed energy. We're looking at fixed energy because the moon, Saturn, Mars and Gaia are all in fixed signs, and they're opposite each other, and they're creating a grand fixed cross. So what does that mean? Well, on the whole, it means that the energy is about to be bust up by Gaia, Uranus, but that's not going to really start to have an effect until the 20th of August. We've got a few more planets to get retrograde to start singing loudly. But we're going to look at this cross. So, how does this cross work? Well, we have Saturn, which is currently in 12 degrees of Aquarius. It's at home. So Saturn is behaving as a fixed air planet in fixed air. And then we have, at 5 degrees in Leo, we have Mars. So we have cardinal fire in fixed Leo energy. So that's fixed Aquarius opposite to fixed Leo. And then we have the moon at 9 degrees in Scorpio. Just as this, what I'm saying is this is happening now as we have this solstice. See, I want to keep saying solar eclipse because I've been talking about solar eclipses for so long, but it's the solstice. Here comes a butterfly. There's a transformation coming, and the butterfly's flying at the wall. It's flying at that fixed energy. It believes it can break through the brickwork, and that's what this grand fixed cross is all about. So you have the moon at 9 degrees, and remember that's water and water, but Scorpio is fixed water. The moon is, its home is in Cancer, so that makes it cardinal water. And then opposite that, this is where we have the only one that's a mix. And so we have Gaia, Uranus, which is at 13 degrees of Taurus. Now, Taurus is fixed earth energy, and it's echoing back to the year 2000 when we had the Great Conjunction in fixed Taurian air, and back to 1941 when we had the same frequency when all the boomers were born. but this is Gaia, Uranus, whose home is actually where Saturn is. So that's in fixed air, but this is a different kind of air. The Uranian air is to do with the cosmos and space. It's a much bigger frequency that affects all of the planets. See how I did that? So we're just going to dive in. Actually, that's a complete lie. No, let's dive into just Jupiter to begin with. Let's see what Jupiter is, and then I'm going to tell you some other things that are quite important about this solstice. So the solstice takes place at around 4:32 as the sun enters Cancer, and then it will trigger that longest day, shortest night, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, the reverse. So Jupiter, what are you up to with your retrograde? Look, the thing about Jupiter is, before we get going, Jupiter is at home now at 2 degrees in Pisces, but it's about to go next door and knock really loudly to see its neighbour, Saturn, who's in Aquarius at home. It's going back, and he's saying to Saturn, come on, come to the party that's taking place in Pisces. My mate Neptune's there. And Neptune is also going to go retrograde on Friday. But before that, Mercury will come out. So, what's Jupiter up to? Big changes. Big changes. It's a 7. It's a spiritual change. It's a frequency change. Anything else you want to say? Oh yeah, I've got a lot to say. My name's Jupiter. Welcome to the party. Right, so what do we have? We have angelic assistance. Jupiter, that's so beautiful. Jupiter in sound healing is G, and it's your energy wings. So what's it doing? It's trying to correct our energy frequencies so that we can purify all the other energies that pass through us. That's really fascinating. It's a time for a spiritual cleansing exploration of all things earthly that are fixed. Because we have to change the fixed energy now. We're no longer in Earth Epoch. This caging in of things, this boundarying, doesn't have a place where we're heading. We're heading towards less boundaries, less borders, much more friendliness. And it says, open your intuition. You've got to open your intuition. You've got to allow your eyes to see through the delusions of Neptune. Because he's been listening to Neptune while he's in the house with him, and Neptune's been spinning a load of old lies and yarns. So Jupiter's popping back into Aquarius just to square his head, just to get a few things straight before he comes back. And he's like, go on, Saturn, come with me. Because look, he's going to return to the roost. Okay, so let's just see what else Jupiter wants to add. That's too many. If some others come out from this over here, that's fine, but that's a lot of cards. Alright, I'll do it. Oh my god, it's 6 cards. But look, it's really important energy. They want to point out... that's interesting. So the change, 7. They're talking about the veil, seeing through the veil, opening your intuition. This high priestess, she holds a net that's see-through if you will only look. So I'm being told the rolling mists of Neptune that shroud things are going to help you to come out of this. But what they're trying to point out is it's the energy of 5-2 change. And then what's it saying to us? It's saying 2-2, change, find peace within yourself, find air energy, change to air from earth. This is the 2 of Pentacles, change from earth frequency to Jupiter's going to help you to move on to air frequency. And then we have 2 1s, 2 aces. This is big, powerful energy. You've got to find a new way to invigorate your sense of love for you and for others. It's really important, this energy of moving into love. So, I am doing these quick because these upload speeds, by the time this uploads, the solstice will be over. Also, if I sit too long in the sun, the computer overheats and it stops recording, like it did in Thoth. So, what's important about the moon is going to be at 3 degrees of Capricorn very shortly on the 24th, which is, if you think about the old way in which they looked at things, when you have the December solstice, in the northern hemisphere, we say the sun dies and it's reborn on Christmas Day. So right now, in the southern hemisphere, this is the point at which the sun is going to die and be reborn on the 24th of June. So it's a really important energy frequency, and it's a full moon that day at 3 degrees in Capricorn. But it's also exactly the same place it was in 2019 at the Christmas December solstice eclipse, which was on Boxing Day, I believe, which is the 26th of December. But it's also when the virus began. This is when that energy was starting. So in terms of tunnels and eclipses and movements, we've reached some point where something is matching its original frequency that something began, and that is the moon and our emotions. So let's look at, first of all, because you've got Saturn opposite Mars, Saturn is fixed air in Aquarius, so it's pushing, blowing wonderful air towards, I've got to move the cards because the wind's trying to pick them up, so I'm putting them in the bowl to hold them in place. So Saturn is blowing its fixed air. Remember in the eclipse tunnels, I said that all the energy was draining down towards Saturn, and Saturn was going to bring that energy back up. This is the point when it starts. Saturn's in retrograde. It's got a big fat bass voice on it, and it's singing some old song, some old tune that we don't remember. So that's underway, and it's blowing that song onto the Mars in Leo. The cardinal energy to transform your ego is being given that Ace of Fire energy. So let's please have Saturn. Saturn is giving us sacred divinity. And what they're saying to me is that this is the divine energy that's coming now from air frequency, because we're in air epoch. Air as a frequency is the most divine, the most powerful, and it's bringing changes from this heavy, static, immovable earth frequency that we've all been suffering under. It's saying there are 2 paths ahead. It's saying that humanity is almost being split into those. It's like a Janus. Oh, thank you. So, are you one of those who's going to keep looking back in your life at your former glories, or are you someone who's going to look forwards in life to the endless new limitless possibilities? You decide, but you have to make changes to the way you look into the past or into the future. So what's Mars up to in this mix? Rainbow Dragon. Mars is offering a totally new... Okay, so they're showing me in my head that they're showing me Mars with a flaming sword, but instead of it being, you know, violet or whatever, it's every colour. It's every colour. It's a beautiful... It's got so many different frequencies. and it's truth, it's universal law. And they're reminding me of the Libra season that's coming up, when obviously the three planets that we've just talked about, Pluto, Saturn and Jupiter, will be coming out of retrograde and going prograde again. So we need a different area for the journey between. So what's this chit chat then? What's this chit chat between Saturn and Mars? So we've got Elhas. Elhas is elk. It's about protection, but they're saying to me in runic energy, it's about a protection of that which is wild, the world around us. It's like it's trying to drive, they're saying dragon lines. The energy of the actual earth grid is about to start its transformation. That's really interesting. So what else are you chatting about across the heavens, please, Saturn and Mars? What else are you chatting about across the heavens, please? Oh, look, it's folding up the shadows because the card really bent. It's time, they're saying to me, it's time to look at all that and fold it away. Because anything that was your past glories doesn't necessarily have a place in the future frequencies. So fold it up. It's a bit like there's a wonderful ship that the dwarves make that's a piece of paper, and when you unfold it, it's a great big ship, and then you can fold it back up. So it's like something that can carry you on a journey, but you can put it in your pocket. You can bring it with you, but you don't need it all the time. You don't need to keep looking at it. You just know it was part of a journey that got you to where you are now. So, what would you like to add, please? What would you like to add, please? The winds of change are just blowing all around me. Making the cloth lift up. Like the whole surface of the world is transforming. There's a load of cards that have spun, but we'll put them back. So we've got two. First one out very immediately was this feels like a cosmic invasion. In that, if you're looking down that way into all the past and your past glories and your fear of turning around and looking at the new energy, it's about a mirror. It's about looking, staring down and seeing that actually everything down that end is just a mirror of what your life was. Up that way is clear glass. There is no mirror. There's just a future pathway. And what is that pathway? Oh, it's gone on the floor. Cosmic gift. This is a gift from the cosmos. This is a beautiful moment, but you have to decide in which Janus direction you want to be. What side of the fence do you want to sit on? You see, now that's making me think of Tomka. Hello, Tomka. You just wrote a comment about fences, and there is something about this being like a stone fence, the rigidity. There's something about the fence has to come down. The barriers have to come down. The walls have to come down. And they're coming down. There's nothing we can do about it. So it would be better to accept the gift that's heading towards us. So let's now shuffle the deck and ask the question, what is Gaia and the moon up to? Gaia being Uranus. So this is an energy where it feels to me like the moon is coming down to give scorpionic death and rebirth energy to charge up Gaia, Uranus, so that when it goes retrograde and joins the big chorus, and bear in mind, it's a little bit like Gaia is the diva. It's like all the rest of the opera is battling away, it's doing its own stuff, and they're all waiting for the diva to turn up on the 20th, and she's got the main tune. Okay, so Gaia, Uranus, is the main tune. And that's in 13 degrees of fixed Earth Taurus, and it's just going to shake it all up, bust it all open. So, it's about the community. It's about celebrating communities. It's about freedom. It's about dancing. It's about joy. And it's a whole new, there's runic language and symbols hidden in here. Wow. Never thought to look at this card while doing the runes. It's light language. It's very much a new energy that's coming in. I'm getting that sense of Saturn being a key player. It's like Saturn's is the one that set up the stellium tear on the 11th of February. And remember, everything now since the great air mutation last year, on the 21st of the 12th, and that was in 2020, it's a whole series of the mirrored frequencies of 2 and 1, moving from ones, which is the individual, to 2, sharing. It's just a very simple formula. Oh, and that's what it is. It's a very simple formula, but there's a resistance. So, what's the moon want to say on the subject? Oh, the moon's gone a bit double frequency. The moon is my most... I hate the look of this card. I've said it before, but if you're going to do a First Nationer, can you not make them look a little less dumb and cartoon-like? But, look, it's about cosmic medicine. And then we have 18, ground your light. The moon is pulling the energies down into, I want to say, like a storage battery that's building and building and building, and the trigger will ping when we reach the 20th of August, and then the coil will unwind, the snake will stand tall. There's something coming out of the box. I'm seeing a jack in the box, but the jack in the box is actually opening really slowly. But at the moment, you've got to wind the box up, get the spring really ready for Virgo season. Ooh. This is Hagal, this is hail. This is something that's painful. Look, it's where fire meets ice. Because it's hail, but it's also volcanic. And there's a lot of fire. There's a lot of fire, and that goes back to that sense of passions at the very beginning. So, this hail, you need to remember that hail hurts when you don't take cover from it. And it's almost like when you live in fear, you're open to more negative energies to pelt you. And the more you stand in a frequency of love, the more likely that before the hail hits you, it will turn into water. It will become liquid again, and it will be a gentler experience. So there's something about facing, you have to break up the things you hold dear that are part of your ego, that are part of your emotional landscape, that you define yourself with. This solstice is about shifting what is fixed, taking the static and looking inside ourselves and seeing what can be created anew. What's the Janus future doorway? Because although the eclipse tunnels were a doorway, we've been through the eclipse tunnel, most of us have come out the other end, and now we're walking with that energy towards the next eclipse that will be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It will start 3.5 weeks before the December solstice. And also the solstices are 2 seasons. You know, a long time ago, there were only 2 seasons. You would say to someone, how old are you? And you might say, I've been alive for 12 summers. because you knew that date in a calendar. So now we're taking the Odin again to just ask, what else is with the hail? What's this chit chat? So the one I'm being drawn to first of all is this one. It's reminding us that the energy of the cosmos is changing the dragon lines of the earth. This is the Bilrost, the Bifrost, coming down as a frequency to change the earth. But it's not just Mars that's doing it, it's the moon that's also doing it. And then we have Jotunheimr. Jotunheimr is when the collective becomes bigger than broken pieces. It's when the jigsaw of life, when people come together as a giant community and their power is more than that of those that tell us what we should and shouldn't do in life. Because a lot of what happens around our lives is kind of the media telling us how wonderful and important leaders are. But I think at the moment many people are beginning to see that those who say that they have solutions are actually not offering solutions. They're just putting sticky plasters over things, and they're still living in fixed earth energy where they're waiting to collect the payload. So we have Nidalfallir. This is that sword. This is that rainbow sword being made by the dwarves. There's something about drying something out, drying ourselves out almost, drying out the old version of you and then folding it up like paper. Okay, so it's like we have to activate a sense of ego origami. It won't go away, but we need to shape it into something new. We need some new paper folds and less paper cuts. So, would you like to just clarify this journey of cosmic rainbow energy, this wonderful sword? Oi, that one's gone on the floor and I can't see it for the moment, but there's a big pile here that came out first. Prince of Cups is coming across as the moon. It's the male energy of the moon. Because obviously I'm doing a lot of work on the runes, and in Norse mythology, the moon Mani was male, and the sun was female, Sol, and they were brother and sister. This is coming across as the moon plunging the energies of emotions deep into the cosmic waters of the Akashic records for Gaia, Uranus. And it's to create Six of Pentacles, a new flow, a new earth energy. I want to say that this energy's fixed, but it's a new fixed energy. It's not the old fixed energy. This is the fixed air earth energy. Air earth energy, that's what we've got. Space air, cosmic air from Gaia, Uranus, in Taurus. It's like there's going to be like something's going to go off within the earth grid and change it to air being the dominant energy in the earth. Right, there's that card's finally caught the wind and come out from underneath. But I'm not going to look at what it is. I want a surprise at the end. And this is, oh look, it's 3 and 6. It's changing the very core, the very nature of atoms. So the structure of everything, not just this, but the structure in a rock, the DNA, the molecules inside the rock, the atoms are being transformed. They're going to flow with a different frequency. And they're saying to me, magnetic north and south pole and the shift that they've been moving. You know, the north one's been, the magnetic north pole's been rushing across Russia. And the south pole, even though no one wants to talk about it, it's very slightly in Perth at the moment, apparently. So, shifting frequencies. And then it's just, this is interesting. We've got 12 frequency. We're in 12 frequency now. This is the Hanged Man. This is Odin hanging from the gallows, awaiting the transformation, awaiting the healing. 17. This is one of the golden numbers in the runes as well. But this is like, you've got to go into an emotional bleed. I can't believe they're showing me how to see the messages of the runes that I'm writing in the tarot now. So these two are talking to me about you've got to emotionally bleed out all that was fixed about your ego so that you can flatten out that ego and do the origami folds on it. So, what's the last card? Look, it's the Tower. We've had the Tower here. But this is the Tower of the mind. This is the Tower of fixed old earth. This is old. They're showing me this as some ancient fairy tale being shrouded and enshrined in dragons, and there are eggs. But at the base of it, you probably can't see it, but there's a tiny starfish, and starfish is about a regeneration. We've all got to come out of this tower, or that's happening to us. You know, if you can allow your thoughts to change, then the tower moment will just be you stepping outside a door and being in a comfortable frequency. But if you can't do that, you're in trouble, because everything's going to fall around you. So, let's just end. What does the moon want to say? Since the moon's doing so much in this, it's a super moon. So this moon is a super moon that's coming. The full moon on the 24th is what I mean. So this is kind of jumping. The moon now is at 9 it's at 9 degrees in Scorpio, and by 3 degrees in Capricorn on the 24th it will be a super moon. So first of all, it's going through Sagittarius, and it's saying find direction, find your ego direction is what I'm being told. And what's the end of it, please? A new start is coming, and believe in the impossible. This isn't truly a blue moon in the way that we think of as a blue moon, but this is saying there's an energy that's coming, which is 2 full moons that are both in Aquarius. Now, that's not the definition of a blue moon. A blue moon is when there's 2 full moons in the same month. But they're saying to me, this is the energy of the next emotional tunnel that the moon is setting up for us. So it's the space between the full moon, which I think is on the 24th of... Oh yeah, Blue Lunar Storm. It's on the 24th of July, the last day of Blue Lunar Storm year. And then you'll have the new moon, which is on... It's this new moon that comes in is on the 8th of the 8th. And so that's the Lion's Gateway portal with a brand new moon all on its own. And then the following moon will also be a full moon in Aquarius, and that's when the pattern of the moon will switch around and we'll start to get them in their balanced frequencies, as in the new moon will be followed by its direct opposite new moon, whereas at the moment they're one phase out because they're the wrong way around. So that's the message. There's lots of changes coming. Enjoy your solstice. It's now. Wassail.